Is it on?
It's on.
Okay. We're on.
We're on.
Hey!
Hi, everyone. Hey, YouTube.
Yeah, I don't wanna pay no mind. Speak up for the pride, 25 minutes of the night. Hoping the priorities align. Let me tell a little bit of mine. Benefit aside, I don't wanna pick up online. I'm a good.
Welcome back to the channel, or welcome to the channel, depending on whether you're a subscriber or new to the channel.
We're back, baby.
We are.
We're recording this at the end of January, but it's the first mukbang we've put out for 2020. So Happy New Year.
Yeah.
Welcome back.
Thank you.
And it begins. The antics, the shenanigans. It's what you tune in for, right?
Yeah.
I know.
So a mukbang is an eating show. So we're going to be eating and we're going to be showing and you're going to be eating with us. That's the thing.
That's it. So we've got so much to talk about.
So the point being, you have to pause the video. If you haven't got some food, go and grab some food, come back and let's eat together.
That was very forceful. Together, we are eating together. Yes. So I'm nervous. I'm nervous. I'm excited, but I'm nervous. There's so many new things to talk about.
Got a new remote too. The last one was crap and died.
I knew you were going to talk about that.
Yeah, so this is an authentic Canon one. The other one was a Canon ripoff. Get the authentic one.
Yes.
Pay a little bit more, but it works. I'm very happy with it.
Are you done?
Yeah, I'm done.
Okay, by the way, you left the plastic sticker on. It looks like when people leave the plastic on their couches.
Yeah, it kind of felt that way.
To rip it off.
Maybe.
Take it off.
It's awkward. It's in an awkward spot.
It's not an awkward. I'll do it.
Here we go.
No, your big fingers will switch off. No, you're going to stop recording.
All
right. You did it.
Did it? Yep.
Yeah.
But so now where am I going to put that?
It's going to blow away in the fan.
Exactly.
Just put it there. Did you miss us?
There we go. There we go. We're good.
So,
food first?
Food. Oh my gosh, I'm so excited. What are you guys eating?
Let us know in the comments below and let everyone else know.
Get food, share your recipes.
Exactly.
Now, what
are we eating?
Oh my gosh, this is so exciting. This is one of our new favourite meals.
Yeah, okay, so it's a plant-based roast duck. Okay.
I'm gonna drop it. This is a heavy bowl.
Let me see if I can get a piece of this duck to the camera.
Plant duck. How come you got the chopsticks?
Okay. All right. Now the autofocus is going to want to stay focused on our faces. So if I put this hand,
I mean, this is like mukbang.
Put your head behind my hand. Put your head behind my hand.
My head behind your hand.
Yeah. So now, no. That's it. Stay there. Stay there. Okay. I think we're focusing on the duck.
I don't know. We still can't get this right. How many mukbangs have we done?
I don't know.
Luca.
I think that's right. Is that working?
Stop.
Is it focusing on the duck
or
my hand?
I can't see the screen.
That's the duck.
You just hit me in the
Sorry.
Anyway.
You have the chopsticks. So this plant-based duck, this is not sponsored. This is just something that we really love. We've been enjoying. We've been having it weekly for like months now.
We've stocked up the freezer because it was on special, and Luca comes home with all these bags. I'm like, what do you got? He's like, the plant duck is on sale. The freezer's full.
We wait for it to drop to half price and then buy up all of it. It's fantastic. Okay, the brand is Plant Asia. It's available from Woolworths supermarkets here in Australia, which is one of Australia's largest supermarket chains. It's national. So let us know if it's available in your country, or if you're from Australia and you've already tried it, let us know. What do you think?
And if you're from Brisbane and you can't find it anywhere, blame him because
we've bought it all up. It is really, 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 really good.
It's amazing.
We want to promote, great tasting plant-based meats.
Now,
because you know how some of them are not all good.
This one is really good, really good. And again, we're not sponsored, but hey, if you want to sponsor us,
Plant Asia, hit us up because we love it. We get it weekly. They're like, but you post about it on your Instagram and Facebook stories weekly. Yeah. So why would we need to sponsor you? Because you're already promoting it for us, and now on a YouTube channel. Anyway, we just want people to eat really good plant-based meats.
Yes.
So this is one to introduce your not yet vegan friends and family to.
Okay. Also with heaps of veggies.
Chinese stir-fry veg mix. Normally I'd add fresh kale to this. Forgot about that today.
We always forget something when we record a mukbang.
We do.
And today it was the kale.
Added some frozen edamame.
Yep.
And this is on a bed of black rice noodles with chia seeds.
Now, these noodles, we used to get them a lot, and then all of a sudden they disappeared from our supermarket. And we went on a bit of a, I was going to say...
we went searching for them.
We went searching for them.
Yeah.
And we found them.
About those animologies.
I know. And then we bought heaps. Our pantry's stocked up. It looks like we're just prepared for, disaster, which has been happening in this country. Yeah. We'll talk about that later.
We will. They're quite a nice colour, actually. So it's black rice noodles, but when you cook them, they come out purple.
Oh, they've clumped.
They've clumped. Yeah, they've clumped. That happens. Sometimes we'll just do it with whole grain rice, black rice, brown rice.
We wanted to be fancy and show you noodles, but now that looks like a...
The plant-based duck has enough flavour on it so that we don't need any dressing. Yeah. It's got soy sauce and other bits and pieces.
It's marinated.
Yeah, it's marinated.
And that blends really well with everything else.
And it gives that authentic sort of skin look to it as well.
Yeah. And we
that
used
marinade does anyway.
We used to love eating duck when we were carnists.
We did.
Before going vegan, we'd go to a Chinese restaurant and we would order
Peking duck.
Loved all the time.
Loved it. And this is amazing. It is so reminiscent.
Very authentic.
Yeah.
So you could definitely serve this to a carnist and they'd be like, they probably wouldn't.
Yeah.
It's
so
very real.
Get it if you can.
Okay. Wait back. Wait back.
That's good to be back.
Noodle. I'm choking already.
And watch the chia seeds on the noodle. You have an episode like the sesame seeds that time. Was that in the mukbang when you showed
people
the
still
sesame
send me messages saying be careful of sesame seeds every time we show our meals during the day. I still think you're trying to kill me.
No. Just on the duck. 20 grams of protein per 100 grams. That is very high in protein. Making the gains, the V gains at the
Back
gym.
at the gym.
Very good. And low in saturated fat, around 1 gram per 100 grams or
Okay,
thereabouts.
Luca.
Anyway, very, very, very good.
So, we have so much to talk about. Let me just open our notes in front of us. Oh, can I bring that screen forward? Can you see it? Okay. Okay, so we've done the food. Life recap, update. My gosh, so much has happened. First of all, do you recognise this place? If you're a long-time viewer.
Yeah, let us know in the comments below. Do you recognise this filming location?
It's kind of weird. We moved back into the apartment that we used to live in, when? Like 2 years ago? And it was weird coming back, but we really like this place and I think it looks good in videos. And are you blocking the plant? You better not be blocking the plant. Look, we got a plant. Remember the last mukbang? I was really upset that we never had a plant.
And you overlaid a plant in the last apartment, yeah?
Yeah. Well, now we've got a real one. Well, it's not a real one.
It's not a real one. It's a fake real one.
But we didn't buy it. It's already in the apartment. So we're like, oh, wow, we got props. And there are some fake flowers too.
Yeah.
And
we rent fully furnished places so that we don't have to buy furniture every time we move somewhere.
So that looks really good. I'm just looking at us. Who did costume wardrobe design this morning?
Right, do we look coordinated?
We kind of look matchy-matchy. We look like sailors. I've got the stripes.
You've got a tank top, I've got a muscle top.
Yeah, but they're both navy.
No,
Who
yours is
approved
black.
of this? No,
Yours
it's
is
not.
black and white.
That is not black and white.
It's black and white.
It's not.
It's
navy.
What do you think? Is that black or is it navy?
You're half colourblind. Men don't.
Most men are, yeah? That's what you tell me anyway.
I just tell you, you're colourblind. He doesn't know. Anyway, we look a bit matchy-matchy. I feel like we should have a little sailor's hat on.
But no, you know, I really...
Is it cute? Or is it... I don't know. Eat your damn noodles, girl. Oh. This one.
Yeah. Now, this is the first mukbang we've made, as you said, for 2020, and the first in 7 months. The last one was in June.
Yes.
In Calgary, Canada, when we were on our International Animal Rights Activism tour with Rose from Cheap Lazy Vegan. That was really
so
good.
much fun. And that day, oh my gosh, we recorded 2 mukbangs.
About an hour long each. One for our channel and one for her channel. And they're both different.
Yes. So everything we're going to talk about today is going to be linked in the, what am I saying?
Description. Below the video.
Forgetting things. We haven't made one of these videos for
so if you haven't watched either of them, or if you've only watched one of them, they'll be in the description below. They're fun.
That was fun. I was just going to say
Hey Rose, if you're watching.
Hi Rose. Something else. We've got a mic. So that's what you can see here. I hope the audio, we tested it, it sounded good.
2 years ago when we were filming in this location, it was very echoey. There was nothing we could really do. It's just sort of, there's nothing we can do.
It's open and there's tiles and there's not a lot of, and anyway, it's a bit echoey. So
hopefully this mic reduces the echo somewhat.
Tell us what you think. If you think it sounds good, I don't know how it's going to go when you start scraping the bowl. Everyone's going to want to kill you.
But if you can remember what the echo was like when we last filmed here, let us know if you think this is an improvement.
I think it's an improvement. We'll see how we go. Anyway, that's what that is. Okay.
We haven't really been feeling like filming a mukbang up until now, had we?
I was just going to say, life's been really, really crazy. So, okay, these chopsticks are annoying me.
Down with the chopsticks?
Yeah, well, I'll put them...
Just down.
Just down?
That's good.
Get my table dirty.
That's what wiping the table is for.
Fine. Whatevers. Is that what they say? Whatevers?
Or whatevs.
Whatevs.
I'm not sure.
Whatevs. That sounds like a place. I'm going to whatevs. Anyway, where were we going? We digress. Oh, life. Oh, life. Dear diary. Life's been crazy. It's been manic, guys. So 2019, as you know, we were on a activism tour across... Where did we go, Luca?
Israel, Canada and Europe.
Yeah, and...
it was full on, it was hectic.
It was full on. When we got back, we
burned out.
We crashed and died. We needed so much time off. We needed to heal. Not only like... Physically, we got over it. We got a lot of sleep. We rested. We started exercising again. That was good. Like within 2 weeks, I felt physically good again.
Yeah, but mentally
and emotionally, it takes time. Like that took a toll on us. That was just exhausting on a very deep level. And unless you do it yourself, like the way we're describing it, it doesn't know justice.
We do have a podcast episode on it
that's
where
right.
we reviewed it and we spoke about how we felt and tried to convey what we went through.
It was kind of crazy. Like, are you splashing everywhere?
I'm sweating. It's really hot.
It's really hot. I was going to say that. What's wrong with you?
It's probably like 35 degrees Celsius here in Brisbane today. Beautiful weather. Summer in Australia, gorgeous, but
it's very
we've
hot.
got all the windows closed
fan
up. Fan on. Probably not high enough.
No.
If we put it on higher,
it's going to be blowy and crappy audio. So we're very sweaty.
Apologies.
Anyway, we digressed again. God, this is going to go on forever. What did we say?
Routine.
Oh, yeah.
Life. Routine.
Life.
Emotionally, mentally, we were burned out.
It was really, really intense and we just needed time away. And so, we did record that podcast episode where we talked about what it was like behind the scenes on tour and all the little things that happened that you guys didn't see but that we experienced. And week 1 in Vancouver, I kind of lost it in a supermarket.
So basically, we weren't in a frame of mind to record mukbang videos where we have to be lively, happy,
I didn't want to smile. I didn't want to entertain people.
We weren't in that mental place. Now we are, and we're loving this. This is fantastic. So glad that you can join us, that we can be here eating together.
A lot of people kept sending us...
It's taken us until now, hasn't it, to feel that way?
No, I was going to say, a lot of people kept sending us messages saying, please do mukbangs, when are you going to do mukbangs? And I'm like, I don't want to do mukbang. I don't want to do it. We just both just couldn't... We weren't there. But... we are now. I feel good. I kind of... This is fun. I feel fun again. I feel fun.
It feels fun.
It feels fun.
To be doing this. Yeah.
Yeah. So that's kind of...
Thanks to everyone who's been requesting mukbangs.
Yeah.
I met a subscriber to the channel yesterday, actually, when I went to buy a Lush product. Face cleanser or scrub. Anyway, she said, I'm a subscriber to the channel, patron, love your work. And I said, we're actually recording a mukbang tomorrow because she was excited for those to come back. So... thanks to everyone who's been requesting them.
Thank you.
Happy to be back.
Yes.
Bringing them to you.
Okay. All right. So let's stick to this schedule. Otherwise, we're going to take like 10 hours and we have an electrician coming at 3. The switch broke. Doesn't matter.
TMI. Let's do it.
All right. News. So, are we up to that?
No, yeah. I skipped ahead, didn't I? Doesn't matter.
Where did you go? Yeah, you did. That's why I got confused.
Doesn't matter.
Nothing's changed, We've been doing this for years and we're still repeating the same patterns.
Yes. Leopards don't change their spots. They don't get bigger or smaller.
Husbands don't change anything. Or wives. All right, news. So, 2020.
I changed my clothes. I don't think I've worn this stuff before in a video.
And who approved it? We're matching. We're going back. Listen, 2020, we have some news. So we had plans we were going to go to the US and we were supposed to speak at a number of conferences and events and we were going to do...
the New York Animal Liberation Conference and the San Francisco or Berkeley Animal Liberation Conference.
Yes, and also in Oregon, Vegan Festival. And we were planning on doing actually a speaking tour at schools and universities around the United States. So that was the plan. And we had committed to some things. And then, you know what? We cancelled, to be honest. We pulled the pin, pulled the plug.
It was too much after the last 2 years of consecutive tours. We're like...
we just couldn't do it.
We don't have it in the tank for the third time round.
No. It takes a toll, as I said, on such a deep level. But also, we're just happy to be back living a somewhat normal life and having a somewhat normal relationship and not just being colleagues that are killing each other on the road, and it just got too much. So we cancelled.
But we have an alternative.
We have. So sorry to everybody who was expecting us to go, and I know we kind of promoted some of those events already.
Apologies. We just had to put our own oxygen masks on first before helping others.
And it was the hardest decision to make. I was heartbroken. I felt so torn and distressed with making that decision. We both made it, but it was the right thing to do. It really was. Very, very difficult. And for us to say no to those things, I mean, I think you guys can imagine just the place that we were in.
Yeah, we tend not to say no to stuff like that.
Absolutely not. We love that, and we've been doing those things, as we've said, for 2 years now. But had to stop. So, sorry America, but we have an alternative. So, Australia, we are based here, and what we are going to do is a school/university speaking tour where we're going to give a talk to students, and we're planning on doing this slowly so that it's sustainable over time. It may be over this year and going into next year. Who knows?
Yeah, the focus will be like, say, year 12 students who are 17 and 18 in their last year of living at home, maybe, before they move out, and also university students. And that demographic tends to be the most open-minded, the least layers of indoctrination, and the most reachable and perhaps able to make and willing to make changes.
Yeah, so we're in the middle of, writing up that speech, that presentation, and we really want to do an awesome job. Just we're
really
refining.
Yeah, I mean, after all, it was Gary Yourofsky's speech. If you haven't seen it, best speech you'll ever hear. 4.5 million odd views here on YouTube that turned us vegan 8.5 years ago. And he gave that at Georgia Tech to a group of students. And we want to follow in Gary's footsteps in terms of
of this idea. I think it's very effective
and making it a quality presentation that reaches people.
Yeah, and it's something that we haven't done before either. So it's a different approach for us, and we're really excited about it. So that's what we're going to be doing this year. Now,
we did give one talk to a group of university students earlier last year here in Brisbane.
In Brisbane, that's right.
But you mean is doing that on like a tour of speaking engagements at universities and schools,
like a long-term thing. So we're working on that project, and it's going to be later on. So once we're ready, we're going to
need your help.
Yeah, reach out to you guys to help us get into these schools and universities and help us organise that. So it's a long-term project, and in between, we'll be back to making mukbangs and regular videos, and of course keeping up our podcast shows. So it's back to business as usual in all aspects or areas of our life, which feels good.
Yeah. Do we want people who are interested in here in Australia in us coming to give a talk at their school or university to even just from now flag an interest by sending us an email?
What do you think? Okay, why not? Don't leave a message, comment under here, because you might not see our reply. You can email us. That's the best way to get us. info@thatvegancouple.com. I'll put the link. Just reach out and say, yes, I'm interested. This is where I'm at. And we will get in contact with people once it's closer to. So that's 2020. Yay. Are you enjoying a meal? Are you enjoying a meal?
Very much, yes.
Yeah?
Yeah, love this duck.
My noodles are cold, but that always happens with mukbangs.
The food cools down by the time we get to record,
The setup.
Anyway,
okay, so that's the news. You already told them about Rose from Cheap Lazy Vegan.
Yep.
Oh, so what we wanted to talk about, we felt like we've been so out of the loop with everybody, but it's been a really long time, and we just wanted to reconnect with you guys and give you a little rundown about what's been happening on the channel and on the podcast, and just we know that a lot of people weren't watching and following as intently when we were on tour, so you may be back, and we want to just share things with you.
And some people also have been unsubscribed from the channel, or they haven't received notifications even though they've got them turned on, so they're not getting notified of our uploads. So it's a good little refresh.
Just a recap. All right, so we uploaded 7 outreach videos from our activism tour last year. They were good. I was happy. There was so much work. Every conversation. And this is just like a sample of how many conversations we did.
But it's really powerful to not only have the conversations one-to-one, or sometimes one-to-many, but then to be able to share them online and reach so many more, tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands if you put them together cumulatively of people.
It's really powerful.
It is, because they get to see, if they're not yet vegan, the common excuses that not yet vegans use, which aren't morally justifiable, and they hear someone else say it, and they sit there and they think, hang on a sec,
that doesn't sound very logical.
Yeah, it doesn't sound very logical. And so that's really handy. Sometimes it can be a light bulb moment for people.
Absolutely.
Sometimes it's just part of the 100 points.
Yep.
Which we've got
an Instagram, an IGTV video on, actually. We just uploaded it.
We'll link that in the description.
So we're going to link a heap of stuff in the description box. So
it's good for family, maybe not yet vegan family, if you're playing it in the house on the big TV.
Yeah.
and just hearing.
Are you listening?
They can hear those conversations.
And it's also very good for vegans to get some tips about how to outreach, how to have those challenging conversations, how to answer the most common objections that we hear all the time over and over and over and over. So,
and even if they're not having them on the street with strangers,
no, they happen in everyday life. It's
family, friends, colleagues, same thing.
Anyhow, so we've made 7 outreach videos that came from the tour. I'm going to link those. Knock yourself out, kids. And we also uploaded, I'm so excited about this. We gave a speech at the UK Vegan Campout last year.
Amazing event. Over 5,000 people camped in the showgrounds for a couple of days. And so many speeches and events and workshops and
really
just
fun.
A really great vibe. Anyway, gave a speech there. We were so excited to be there.
And we uploaded the full speech to YouTube. Now, this was done like many months ago, but it hasn't had a lot of views, which...
Would you say it was our second best speech of the year?
Yeah, it was really good, and it sounds weird. But
our other favourite one was in Israel.
Yeah.
And that's had more views.
Yes.
But it has been up longer.
Yeah.
But this was similar and yet different.
No, it's different because this one goes into more like, it's about a lot of our backstory and our relationship, and we show some photos from when we were kids and in the same class together.
And YouTube.
Behind the scenes of how we work. So it was different. It's not just about veganism and activism. They wanted to hear more about our story. So we're like, okay, you sure? All right. So it's a really cool presentation. And we had a slideshow and we showed pictures and and when we finished, everybody was like, oh my God, I loved that so much. Please put it on YouTube.
We had so much wonderful feedback.
It was incredible.
Yeah,
it was
people
really
messaging us or coming up to us after the speech saying that was so inspiring. It reached not yet vegans. It reached not yet active vegans. It reached active vegans.
It was really cool. And there were so many thousands of people in the hall that day.
That was a real buzz. That was a real
incredible. That was really incredible. Anyway.
It was an honour and a privilege.
Yeah.
And we were just so happy to be able to motivate, educate, inspire and empower people. I'm really proud of that moment.
I know, me too. And I was going to say, and entertain, because it felt like a show. Like, it was just something so different to what we'd done before, and there were lots of laughs from the audience, and it was great.
Of course, a very serious topic, and yet, humour is a part of life as well.
It's life. So, we just wanted to share that with you. We're going to link it, check it out, and we hope you enjoy. Okay. Another thing
if you were there that day, let us know in the comments below.
Yeah.
Or if you've watched it on YouTube, let us know.
Another thing we've been working really hard on is our podcast show. Because like we said, we just didn't feel like getting on camera. But the podcast was something we could keep going and, it was easier to do than all of this. So we've been working really hard on the podcast. And last year... and also when we got back off tour, we have recorded so many episodes.
Yeah, last year we met a lot of people on tour and were able to interview them face to face. That was really one of the highlights, I think.
It was incredible.
In Canada, we met with Joanne MacArthur, an animal rights photographer.
Which a lot of you would know from Instagram and Facebook. Her work is amazing.
She's also the feature of the documentary film, The Ghosts in Our Machines. Yeah, sorry, The Ghosts in Our Machine.
Ghosts in Our Machine?
Yeah.
Whatever.
Yeah.
Fabulous. That was such an emotional, beautiful interview, like to have that in her home. It was fabulous. We also spoke to...
She's been in Australia recently, actually, photographing the bushfires.
Yes. We also spoke to animal rights lawyer Camille Lapchuk. Lapchuk.
Yep.
Sorry, Camille.
Been doing some wonderful work.
Very, very
for
interesting.
Animals in Canada in terms of legislation.
Yeah, really, really good to have someone on the show that could talk about things from that perspective that we don't usually hear. It was very interesting. We also did heaps of TVC news desks. Like, there's been so much happening in the vegan world always. Oh my gosh! Drop the needle. Wait. No, don't touch that. Oh, sorry, the audio's going to go all funny. Wait. Oh.
Keep your food in your bowl, woman.
I know. Well, I always drop stuff, but I didn't expect the mic to be there.
The bowl is big enough.
Luca, I talk
these are huge bowls. These bowls are so big and perfect that people hit us up all the time. Well, where did you get them from?
Okay.
You still can't get the food in it.
Let me just say, who's the one who has this massive table, a huge bowl, and then will drop something on your shorts? Oh, where did they go on my shorts? It's not me, it's you. Happens all the time. Okay.
So that was Camille.
Yeah, no, I was saying we did heaps of news desks. We responded to so much stuff that was happening last year on the show. Oops.
And we've also done lots of reviews. We did an end of year review for all things vegan and animal rights in 2019. That was huge.
That was massive. That was a 2-hour episode or something.
If you've seen the plant-based news, Vegan 2019, it's like an audio version of that with similar stories, plus some others, and plus our own insights, if you like, into those stories.
Yeah. And we did a Christmas special, which required a lot of singing. Oh, did you choke? Choke. Just to balance it, because I always sound like an idiot. You're right. You good?
Yeah, no, I'm good. Yeah.
You good? You good, champ?
I'm good. And
Christmas.
Yep.
We did a lot of singing in that episode.
That was scary.
Scary and painful.
Yeah.
It's kind of fun.
We also reviewed the Game Changers film. Let us know in the comments below if you've seen that. Wow, knockout. I had some troll come about protein and athletes and what have you today. I just linked the Game Changers. It's so good to be able to do that now. It's just so good. We also reviewed some docu-series on Netflix, huh?
Our last 2 podcast episodes have been reviews that people have requested. Episode number 88 was reviewing, it's a Netflix docu-series. A lot of you have probably already heard of it. Don't F with Cats.
A lot of people have seen this.
Hunting
Netflix were
an
pushing it
Internet
heavily.
Killer.
It's really, really good.
It was a fascinating watch. It's disturbing but really good.
When I say good, it was well put together. It's obviously
it's not like a good
horrific story.
Yeah. Anyway, people wanted us to watch it and review it, which we did, and it raised so many interesting things to talk about. People were asking us about, in addition to the fact that there were lots of ties to veganism and animal rights and a lot of parallels.
And activism.
Yeah, there were a lot of parallels with our world. Can I say our world? The stuff that we do. But also, it got us talking about things like the dark web. Ooh.
Yeah.
That was interesting.
Yeah. And also...
And censorship.
Yes.
Right, so a lot of different topics.
And of course there was the big question about, okay, these people are so passionate about the rights of cats, for example. Did they extend that to other animals? Were they vegan or were they not?
Yeah, they're trying to catch this cat killer, but are they eating other animals? Very interesting.
And then we also reviewed the Animal People documentary, which was executive produced by Joaquin Phoenix, who is
Isn't he just
the person of 2020, really.
I can't believe how he has started this year.
I remember we got back from tour and The Joker had just come out and we went straight to the cinema. We only go to the cinema for really, exclusive films, don't we? Ones that we really desperately want to see.
We see Marvel films and Star Wars.
And that's it.
We're kind of geeky, aren't we?
Yeah, but The Joker, we had to go and we're so glad we did. It was amazing. So been winning a host of awards and he executive produced this film, The Animal People. Now this is about a campaign to shut down an animal torture lab, and it was in the US and the UK. It was called SHAC, which is an acronym for Stop Huntingdon Animal Cruelty. And this was a roller coaster ride, wasn't it?
It's a true story, which is really distressing,
disturbing,
and just
scary,
shocking. There were no words, and as you said, it was an emotional roller coaster. It took us all over the place. It was very, very well put together. They were actually making it over 15 years, so it's a big production, and it's an important story to share. Because if we, and when I say we, vegans and activists and people in this movement, if we don't watch these kind of things and share them and really get the word out there, then this kind of gets lost. It's not being broadcast by mainstream stations right now. It was at the time, but it just died and it didn't go anywhere. So this documents the SHAC 7
and the gross injustice and the political corruption and corporate influence.
It was full on. So anyway,
let us know if you've seen it in the comments below, or if you've listened to the podcast and what you thought of the review.
That episode, number 89, the review of The Animal People, and also the previous one, number 88, have probably been our 2 most requested and commented. There's been so much engagement on our Patreon. So thank you to everyone who signed up to listen to it and engage with it, and thanks for your requests. It's been really awesome to work with our listeners and produce this content. We've enjoyed it. So.
Yeah, and you'll learn a lot if you've not watched The Animal People or listened to the review. It's
wow. Just wow.
Thank you, Joaquin Phoenix.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, how are we going? Now you've nearly finished, and I've haven't really had more than 5 bites.
Yeah, I've been hungry. All right. So we've got a bit of a news desk as part of the mukbang now too.
So now I'm going to eat more and you're going to talk more.
All right. So the biggest news at the moment, potentially, is this coronavirus outbreak here in China. Over 2,700 people have been infected in China, and this was at the time of your research yesterday. Which was Tuesday.
So whenever you're watching this, the numbers are going to change.
Statistics might have changed. The death toll as of yesterday was 81. Authorities believe the source of the coronavirus is the wild, and we'll talk about this more in a minute.
Pause for burping.
Pause for burping. 11 million people live in Wuhan. It's a lot of people. It's almost half the population of Australia.
11 million people in one city.
Yeah, city or province.
Maybe it's a province.
Yeah. About 5 million people left Wuhan, China before the lockdown last week. Jeez. The virus has spread to 13 countries as well, with 5 confirmed cases in the US and 5 cases in Australia, again as of yesterday. Now, the Lunar New Year, China's most important holiday in which city workers return to their hometowns, is happening now. It's the largest annual human migration, with Chinese citizens making combined 3 billion trips during the season. And we've actually seen this before in a documentary film called Last Train Home from I think 2009 or thereabouts. Fascinating film. Again, we'll link it in the notes, in the description.
Fascinating and seriously distressing.
Very. Yeah. If you find you're over-consuming, check out this Last Train Home documentary. It's going to make you think twice.
It's one of the reasons why we're minimalists.
Yeah.
It's one of the reasons why we only buy what we really need, and we don't just buy it for the sake of buying it.
Like we used to once upon a time.
Yeah, we used to. We used to just,
consume like most people do in
That's
Western
what we're taught
culture.
to do. That's what we're taught to do. But when you get some perspective, it's just extraordinary. So, and I was going to say, when I was looking at some of these articles and videos and things that were online, the images were absolutely just shocking. I couldn't grasp what was happening. Like, I know these are just numbers, but think about it.
Yeah.
5 million people left a city. That's massive. A city of 11 million. They're so big. These are big numbers. These are a lot of people affected. What did you say? The largest annual human migration around this time of year. That is huge. It's just there's so much to this. It's not just numbers on a page. It's every individual.
Yeah.
Think about that.
Which is documented in this Last Train Home that we were talking about.
It's really something.
So Chinese workers get a week off work from January 24 to 30. This has been extended to February 2nd due to the outbreak. And for many, it's the only time they get to go home during the year, which may explain the desperation to leave Wuhan in the face of an impending quarantine. Understandably. The New Year festival travel rush has increased the risk of it spreading and increased the difficulty of controlling it and preventing it from spreading. It's reminded us of the Outbreak movie from 1995, yeah?
Yes.
Dustin Hoffman and Morgan Freeman, I think, from memory.
It all started with a wild monkey. No, we won't go into the movie, but again, when I was looking at things online, I'm like, this looks just like a movie. This is not real. This is not how we're supposed to live. And we're talking about, there are people in China wearing biohazard suits, and they are scanning people to see if they're infected with the virus. So anytime you're kind of going near transport or whatever, wherever they're going, people are just scanned. And
I'd be interested to know the technology that's able to detect the virus via a scan. Is that what they were doing, or they were? They were
just like scan. I don't know what the scan. I don't know, but it's quite surreal. And it's sure even they filmed a supermarket, and the people at the checkout that were serving customers were in a biohazard suit. So it's not just the masks, but people are actually starting to wear suits.
So it's like a Hollywood movie in real life.
Yeah, literally. And they they make these kind of movies because there's a shock factor and it's like scary.
But they're also somewhat prophetic.
Yeah. This is how we think the world is going to move towards a plant-based diet. It's not going to be a vegan world the way vegans want. It's going to be, we think, forced towards a plant-based food system because of these kind of outbreaks.
Yeah. So it's not a mass collective consciousness shift in morality.
They're not doing it for ethics. They're not doing it because all of a sudden they care about animals. They're doing it because
we're going to have to shut down animal agriculture because so many of these superbugs and viruses are going to emanate from that environment that will be forced to move to 100% plant-based agriculture.
That in addition to climate change.
Exactly.
So already this year, what have we had? We had these I mean, everyone knows about the bushfires in Australia. It's been so bad. It's been so bad, guys. There were some mornings that, like, we leave the window open when we're sleeping out here. This is the balcony. I'd come in, and the TV area there, the bench, it had white stuff, even on the floor and on our shoes. I'm like, what is that? I think it was ash. Coming in.
Yeah. Yeah, and we live
We live far from the fires.
distance from the actual fires, yeah. So they trapped on the winds. And then we've had snow in Canberra, the capital city of Australia.
And in Melbourne, they had massive storms and hail, big hailstorms.
Yes.
And we've had flash flooding everywhere here.
Torrential flooding. They had 100 mils of rain in a 24-hour period in Queensland, the state that we live in, just very recently.
I don't know where it was in Australia, but I remember them here. I remember them saying they had 1 month's worth of rainfall in 30 minutes. Was that Melbourne or was it somewhere in Queensland?
I can't recall, but it was somewhere here on the east coast of Australia.
A month worth of rain in 30 minutes. This is coming off the back of bushfires.
Yeah.
Which actually, I shouldn't say, that they're still continuing. We still have the fires, but just absolute. Anyway, the point is climate change, and now you've got this virus, and it's like...
The perfect storm.
Yeah, this is what we always thought would happen, and what's going to drive, the human population towards a plant-based food system. We need to let go of animal agriculture. This is the result.
Exactly. I mean, we can eat delicious tasting foods like these. This tastes like roast duck as we recall it tasted. And this is just one example of a product, and there are hundreds, if not thousands of products out on the marketplace these days. And you just get another vegan ice cream was released here in Australia recently, the Peter's Drumstick.
Yep. So, anyhow, that's our 2 cents.
So coronaviruses, and we didn't know what they were until we researched it further, are a group of viruses that cause diseases in mammals, including humans and birds. In humans, the virus causes respiratory infections, which are typically mild, but in rare cases can be lethal, as has been the case, 81 people, thus far?
Thus far, yeah.
In cows and pigs, they may cause diarrhea, while in chickens, it can cause an upper respiratory disease. There are no vaccines or antiviral drugs that are approved for prevention or treatment.
So it's not good. And
potentially lethal.
Linked to animals.
Yeah. So reports are saying this is similar to the SARS outbreak, which also happened in China in 2002, 2003.
Remember that? That was big.
774 people died.
Yeah. I remember when that happened, I was working as a journalist. Is that right? 2002, 2003? Yes.
Yep.
And I remember we were covering SARS. It was just the biggest story and it went on forever.
It was linked to animals, to bats. The Wuhan coronavirus has also been traced to animals, including bats, that were believed to have been consumed by people. From the Centers of Disease and Prevention.
I don't know if they were eating the bats. I don't think they were eating bats. I think
it's just been traced to animals, including bats.
Yeah. Some of the animals they were eating. I don't know if they were eating bats, so I don't want to give out misinformation.
I know this reminded me of the Ebola virus. Which I think most recently was probably in Africa a year or two or so ago, don't quote me. But I remember looking into that, and the source of the Ebola virus was bats that were infected, and they would carry the virus, and they would infect bush meat that people would then eat. Bush animals.
That people would eat, and it's called bush meat.
Yep, sorry, exactly.
Yeah, so that's how the bats are linked, because like when I first heard that, thinking who's eating bats, people might be thinking that they're eating bats. It's not that they're necessarily eating bats.
So they infect animals,
other animals.
That then humans eat those animals.
Yeah.
Coronaviruses are a large family of viruses that are common in many different species of animals, including camels, cattle, cats and bats. Rarely, animal coronaviruses can infect people and then spread between people, such as with MERS and SARS.
Interesting that it says rarely, but when it happens, look at the effect. It's severe.
Hong Kong has closed public areas due to the outbreak, including sports centres, swimming pools, beaches, museums, performance venues and public libraries. Excellent that they've done that, but how disruptive at the same time. This is, if we're not prepared to deal with this level of disruption to our everyday lives, then we need to ditch animal agriculture. It's as simple as that.
Yeah.
So the LA Times wrote an amazing article, didn't they?
I saw this on Instagram. Cowspiracy posted this article and I thought, oh, that's interesting. LA Times, what did they have to say about it? Wow. I'll link it so you can read the full thing. Absolutely fantastic review. of the situation and really getting to the crux of the problem. So what we've done is we've taken out a chunk that's related to animals to share with you. I've got a huge broccoli on one side of the cheek. It's like I've been punched in the face. I'm going to let you read.
Mouthful of edamame.
Uh-oh.
Will I finish it first?
Okay. Chewing time.
How are you going? How's your meal going?
I'm talking. I'm good. How's your meal? I'm so sweaty. I can feel it rolling down my sides.
It's hot.
It's really bad.
Okay, fork down. Let's go, Luca. So, even if the quarantine is effective, it doesn't address the far bigger issue. How do we stop this from happening again? The emergence of this new virus was predictable, even inevitable. To understand why requires looking back to an earlier virus that emerged in China, SARS. Like the new illness, SARS was caused by a coronavirus. In 2003, it exploded out of a wet market in Guangdong where civet cats, raccoon dogs, and multitudes of other animals were caged together in tight, squalid conditions. We've been to a wet market, haven't we, in Hong Kong?
I was going to say that. Yeah, it was in Hong Kong, wasn't it?
Yeah.
So wet markets are very common throughout Asia, and they're markets where animals are still alive. You go in, and just like they described, the animals are in cages, and people will go in, customers, and you will choose your victim, and they kill the animals there, and so it's like fresh meat. It's not done in a slaughterhouse a long way away and then shipped all neatly packaged and wrapped. They're killed there. And I remember we saw chickens being killed. And this was at the this was such a long time ago, and we filmed a little bit, but we were all nervous. And it was at the very beginning of us kind of getting into filming stuff like this. And I remember the chickens would as soon as a human came by, they would run to a corner of the cage. Because they knew that every time a human hand went in the cage, one of them was going to be pulled out.
And never came back.
So maybe they don't know exactly what's going on, but they're stressed. They are in the vicinity of those intense smells of murder. So a lot of blood, obviously, and just they're very sensitive. So they know something not great is going to happen.
And I question whether they don't know, because when we watched that Bird Brain series by Edgar's Mission Farm Sanctuary, and they showcased Little Miss Sunshine, one of the individuals there who we've met.
They're
incredibly intelligent.
So maybe they do know. Anyway, yeah, we've been to one of these wet markets. I think we've been to a few, and they're absolutely awful. They stink. And they're very dirty and crowded, and it's just awful. Basically, it's a breeding ground for disease. Of course, when I read this, I'm like, of course, it sounds so obvious.
Yeah.
So obvious.
I've got an example.
It's like, no shit.
Yeah. I can put it in a human context. We watched the Netflix series Outlander, which was set in Britain 250 years ago, mid-1700s type thing. Is that 250 years ago? Maybe 270 years ago. Anyway, so when they would travel on ships long distances, and there would be an outbreak of disease, it would spread rapidly because people are living sort of like there's feces, there's urine, there's vomit, there's diarrhea, they're all stuck together, sleeping quarters together. It's confined spaces. A lot of beings in a confined space. Yeah. Same thing. Yeah?
Exactly the same thing.
That's why
just
they would
change the species.
They'd be all wiped out from the various typhoid and what have you.
Exactly. Yep.
All right.
Good analogy.
It appears the new virus has similar origins. The initial victims were all connected to a huge wholesale market in Wuhan, where 1,000 stalls housed untold numbers of live animals kept in crowded, filthy conditions.
There you go.
Such wet markets are widespread in China, providing a newly affluent upper class with status-enhancing exotic animals to serve at dinner. Excuse me. Talking and trying to...
Yeah. He does it all the time, even when he's not.
Some people also believe that eating wild animals has health benefits. That just reminds me of the bears that they keep in cages to extract their bile from because they believe the bile has health benefits, or tigers' penises, or...
I was talking about beavers' penises being shipped. Was it 12 tons of beaver penises from
Canada
to China?
People, can we just eat food? Can we just eat food? Read the China study where The majority of
Oh, yeah.
rural China ate a predominantly plant-based diet and had lower incidences of all chronic illnesses and diseases.
Honestly, it's just insane.
come
It's so
on.
unnecessary.
We've lost the plot. If we ever had it as a
think we ever
species,
had
we've
it.
lost the plot. Just eat plants, people. Well, including plant-based meats like this delicious roast duck. The problem with the markets is that the unsanitary and tightly packed conditions in which the animals are held create perfect environments for the evolution of viruses that can jump from one species to another.
We just said that. And mind you, what's the difference between a wet market, like what they're describing, and a farm?
No, nothing.
You know, when you've got a shed with thousands, tens of thousands of animals.
Which is why 80% of antibiotics in the US are fed to farmed animals.
Right? It's no difference if it's a market or a farm or whatever. It's the same breeding ground of filth.
And then we eat those animals, and therefore we have the residual antibiotics in our bodies and thus become resistant. The Chinese government shut down wet markets after the SARS outbreak, but that ban was short-lived, of course, because it would hurt the economy.
Money.
With SARS, the virus came initially from bats and then was passed apparently to civet cats and eventually to humans. Initial indications point to the new coronavirus too having come from bats, but it isn't yet known how it made its way to humans. Coronaviruses have proven themselves masters at jumping from one species to another, and how they affect each species can differ greatly. An infection hardly noticeable in a wild animal, perhaps a civet cat, may spread easily to the next cage, whether that cage houses more civets or another mammalian species. With coronaviruses, the jump from species to species appears to happen fairly easily. The massive poultry farms of Asia, which may house as many as 5 million chickens. Just think about that, 5 million individuals.
Chickens.
Yep, so that's the number of people that left
the city.
Wuhan, housed in a massive...
Wow.
Oh my God.
Oh my God.
Present a different but also potentially lethal source of human infection. There, viruses such as influenza become highly adapted and, in crowded circumstances, ever more deadly to chickens, as there is no cost to the virus if it's lethal. The next host is only a beak away. These virulent avian influenzas can and have killed people, but humans have to catch them directly from the birds. Because they've become so precisely adapted to chickens, the virus has to have little potential for human-to-human transmission. The same evolutionary process can occur on massive pig farms, and now they've got these hog hotels in China where they're
Stuck this
like
way.
a car park filled with pigs that are being farmed to be killed. And can be even more dangerous to people, since people are more like pigs than like chickens. The deadly 2009 swine flu pandemic sprang out of one such massive pig farm in Veracruz, Mexico, where hundreds of pigs died in an outbreak that eventually moved into people. Caging different wild beasts together by the hundreds or thousands, as in a wet market, can produce a particularly dangerous environment for infectious diseases like coronaviruses. Not only is there an array of possible host species, but large numbers of humans are brought into close contact with the animals too. It gets really frustrating because I'm reading all of this, and as vegans we've been aware of this for some years.
Yeah.
But how much attention is this getting in the mainstream media? How much focus is the cause, if you like, and some of the biggest things that we can do to eradicate these viruses?
We'll get to that in a second.
Yeah, it's-
Keep reading.
With SARS, as well as the new coronavirus, it appears that the virus jumped first to the people working with these animals in the market, and then began another process of evolution which allowed it to spread from human to human, adapting to its new host species and becoming more effective at that adaptation all the time. As a result of such evolution, we get brand new human diseases like 2019 NCOV, which did not exist only months ago. It's too early to know what kind of threat the present virus poses. What's important is that we finally learn the right lesson. Very good.
Delicious.
Finish my notes again.
I know.
All right. If we want to forestall the evolution of ever newer and possibly deadlier human-adapted viruses, live animal markets must be permanently shut down. Until the Chinese government outlaws these markets, until factory farms, which are all over the planet, not just in China. If you're watching this YouTube video, there are factory farms in your country, no doubt. Until factory farms housing millions of animals are eliminated, until we take the inevitable logic of disease evolution into account, novel and potentially deadly human diseases will continue to arise again and again and again. It's a no-brainer, but we are so stupid, and we claim that we are the most intelligent species. We are the dumbest. As Mike Anderson of a documentary film called Eating from years ago, he said, human beings are the dumbest animals on the planet.
It's the most obvious, logical thing. Like I said before, no. Of course it's going to happen. What do you expect?
I mean, this is not to mention that the leading cause of death, heart disease, is linked to eating animal products which are loaded with saturated fat and contain cholesterol when plants don't.
So it's just like, either way.
And type 2 diabetes and some forms of cancer. You know, like so when we're eating them, they're killing us. When we're
if it's not this way, it's that way.
Enslaving them in their thousands, the viruses are killing us, and it's just...
It's honestly insane.
It's destroying the environment, which is then, killing people like firefighters and innocent wildlife. It's just insane.
So, hold on, where's my little thing gone?
It's insanity.
It's insanity.
Really is insanity. If you know this information and you're not yet vegan, please make the right, logical, compassionate choice.
I mean, again, I really do think that this is how we're going to go to a plant-based food system, because it's just not sustainable. How many outbreaks do we need? How many people need to die until they take it seriously? Again, I know they don't really care about animals and ethics, but maybe if they care about themselves and their families and their kids, they might think, oh, gee, maybe stop. However, having said all of this, what does the World Health Organization recommend to reduce the risk of the coronavirus infection?
So number 1, clean your hands with soap and water or alcohol-based hand rub.
Sure.
2, cover your nose and mouth when coughing and sneezing with a tissue.
Makes sense.
3, avoid close contact with anyone with cold or flu-like symptoms.
Logical.
4, thoroughly cook meat and eggs.
Are you serious? This is the World Health Organization. So you were just saying before, like, what attention in the mainstream is given to the root cause. And I know I've heard them say that they closed the wet market, but it's like, you don't understand. You can't just close a market and sure, they'll get over this just like they did with SARS, but it's going to come back as soon as you reopen that market. You're creating this breeding ground for this disease, and it's just going to continue.
And I am sick, I have to say, sick and tired of hearing people in the general public and on mainstream media, marvel or wonder about every time there's some kind of environmental catastrophe, isn't that terrible? Why is this happening? Isn't this strange? Isn't this? But
it's not strange.
Again, not linking it to animal agriculture. Same thing with these virus outbreaks. Yeah. It's like, oh, this is terrible. Yet another one. Oh my God, they're quite,
quite common. What's happening? What do you think's happening?
But again, the link is just not.
No, it's not
articulated clearly.
Exactly. So the World Health Organization is saying to thoroughly cook meat and eggs. Not saying not to eat them, just make sure they're thoroughly cooked.
And number 5, avoid unprotected contact with live, wild or farm animals.
That's great. How about you avoid contact by leaving the animals alone?
How about not breeding them into existence by their billions?
That's extraordinary. When I saw that, I was so shocked. I thought, my God, is there really any hope for us as a species? How can that organisation not come out and say, look, right now, at least, we should probably stop eating animals. We should stop breeding them. We should stop farming. We should be switching to a plant-based food system. That is our security if we want to stop these kind of viruses from spreading continuously and just adapting. Why don't we switch to plants? You don't have to eat animals. There's nothing in animal products that we need that we can't get from plant foods. So why are we doing this?
It's insane.
Mind melt. I got so angry.
Yeah.
Anyway, that is our thoughts wrap-up review of the coronavirus. And who knows what's going to happen in a week, a month, or however long from now. I don't know.
Probably a higher death toll.
Definitely. But I saw some videos online. I tell you what, they were showing, someone was filming inside Chinese hospitals. There were doctors collapsing with the virus. It was so shocking to see. And the streets were empty. I mean, China is such an overpopulated country, so busy. When do you ever see an empty street in China?
It's like Armageddon, huh?
Right? I mean, we've lived a long time in Southeast Asia, and it's always so busy. It's so busy everywhere you go. So just to see streets virtually empty, it's like straight out of a movie. We really need to change our ways. Anyway, this whole story kind of is linked to the next thing that we wanted to talk about.
So this is out of Plant-Based News, and they reference, I think, an article from The Independent. Number of animals slaughtered in the UK increases despite people reducing meat intake.
Doesn't make sense, right?
There is less demand for meat products here in the UK. We are confident that this will soon become a global trend. Is the
That sounds
subtitle.
good. That sounds good.
The number of animals killed in UK slaughterhouses has increased over the last 2 years, despite an increasing number of people reducing their meat intake. According to the Department for Environment, Food and Rural Affairs, DEFRA, remember we locked down the DEFRA offices at the Animal Rebellion in London in October 2019. We can link a video on that, can't we?
I think so.
Yep.
Yeah, we did a live stream. Yep.
Almost 29 million farm animals were killed for meat in 2019. Almost 29 million farm animals were killed for meat.
So many.
And I don't know
one country.
Yeah, and that wouldn't include sea life either. I imagine that
that's
would
going to
just
be land animals.
Yeah. A 5.4% increase over the last 2 years.
That's so scary.
Yeah. Reports say the Association of Independent Meat Suppliers puts the increase down to greater demand for meat abroad.
So it's not that people in the UK are increasing their demand for meat. That's reducing. The demand has increased overseas, and so they are breeding these animals and they are killing these animals and shipping them to other countries.
From an AIMS perspective, the increase is due to increased export sales across red meat and in particular pork, a spokesperson told PA. Increased tonnage was sent as a result of their outbreak of African swine fever, which decimated the Chinese pig population during 2019.
I just want to smash my head against something so hard.
Infuriating, isn't it?
I mean,
because it's so clear what's going on here and
see
how
the two stories are linked?
Yeah.
This is incredible. I mean, how do you grapple with this?
I know, I do want to bang my head against the table as well. While pork consumption is expected to decline in the EU, it is rising in China, Japan, Korea and Vietnam, according to a report by the UN FAO published late last year. Now, I was just thinking, this plant-based duck by Plantasia also does a plant-based pork product, roast pork product.
Which we did try.
We tried that.
It was good. It wasn't as good as the duck.
It wasn't as good as the duck, yeah. But
it has potential.
It has potential.
And hey, compared to a epidemic that kills...
And compared to sentient beings being needlessly murdered...
Bacon though?
It was certainly
basically
close
it's
enough.
like
Yeah, I know.
coronavirus versus bacon though.
Yeah.
Are you
Climate
serious?
change versus bacon though.
Survival on this planet versus bacon though.
Needlessly murdering billions of sentient beings or bacon though. Yeah.
I just can't. Whatever.
Basically, there's a less demand for meat products here in the UK, and the representative from Viva says we're confident that this will soon become a global trend as more people realise the catastrophic impact of eating meat and dairy on the environment.
Yeah.
The climate crisis affects us all, and so it won't be long until we see a global drop in slaughter figures.
Yeah, again, it's not going to be because people choose to ethically, oh, my heart, I can't be responsible for the murder of those pigs anymore. People don't give two hoots about the pigs, unfortunately. If they did, they would see footage and bang, stop eating them. But they don't. They see the footage and then they come up with all these excuses and then they continue. And here's where we're at now. So it's going to definitely be basically we need to eat something else or this is going to be unstoppable and we can't survive.
And I also feel like we also have a moral obligation living in affluent Western countries to set a moral benchmark, if you like,
Absolutely.
for countries that are either developing or have an upcoming middle to upper class. Because a lot of the time, for example, in China, as I said, in rural areas historically, they've eaten predominantly plants. And it's only the sort of wealthy people in the cities that have eaten animal products in the quantities like Western countries do.
Absolutely.
But now, because there's a growing middle to upper class, the number of people who can afford animal products increases, right? So I guess what I'm saying is, in some respects, it could be argued that they're following the trend of consuming large amount of animal products that we've set in wealthy Western countries. Now, if more of us in Western countries adopt plant-based diets,
and it becomes the new trendy thing, like this is what's done,
then perhaps
we set the standard.
Perhaps other countries might not look at animal products as being so status symbols of affluence anymore.
Yeah.
And they'll start saying, oh, well, it looks like, the thing to do is to eat plant-based diets. We'll do that. I don't know.
Absolutely. And I think you're right. And I think this is where celebrities can play a really important role. And it's a little bit dodgy because, everyone goes vegan for like a week and then, oops. But when you have people like Joaquin Phoenix, going back to the start of this show, that we were talking about, when he gets up and wins an award and he thanks whoever's putting on the award show, I can't remember what they're called, for the Golden Globes or whatever it was, for having a plant-based menu that night, and links it to climate change, all of a sudden, okay, that's raising awareness and it's coming from somebody of status. And so now what's happening? The Oscars are having a vegan night.
Are they?
Yeah, the Oscars have gone vegan this year.
Good.
Amazing. And this is because of the link that someone that, like Joaquin Phoenix, has been making consistently, and taking the media to the LA Pig Vigil, right? He took 60 Minutes there. We haven't seen the full report, but I know that he went there. Whether they actually screened it, I don't know. If you know, let us know in the comments. Did they show that on the 60 Minutes report? But the point is that he's constantly speaking up, and he's always wearing his LA Pig Save jumper or sweatshirt. And so that message is always there. So it's coming from people that others look up to. And all of a sudden, I hope, as you said, it starts to set a bit of a benchmark.
Yeah, and we can do that in society, just the average person who's not a celebrity, by adopting at least a plant-based diet.
And normalising it. Normalising it. It's not a weird thing. It's not a freaky thing. It's the normal, healthy, ethical, just thing to do. And when I say healthy,
logical,
I don't mean healthy
rational.
in terms of like our personal health, although yes, that's true as well. Healthy in terms of how we coexist on this planet.
Ecologically.
It's a healthy, balanced existence when we are not breeding billions of beings and slaughtering them and creating these horrific diseases that are killing us. That is an unhealthy way to live on this planet.
Well, ironically, in the film The Matrix, which is our favourite film of all time, human beings are depicted as viruses by the machines.
That's right, we are. We're just, ugh. Anyone feel like that as a human? What animal would you like to be? Like, what non-human animal would you like to be? Because we're animals too, of course.
None, because we exploit practically all of them.
I know, but if you weren't exploited, would you want to be one particular animal?
Probably a koala that sleeps about 18 hours a day, but not here in the bushfires. So.
Right, yeah. I'd be a unicorn. All right, one more story we want to quickly talk about. I think this is really interesting, and again, it kind of links to what we've been discussing. So, go for it.
Also from plant-based news, environmentalists create plastic expiry date stickers to show the impact of packaging. The year is 3020. You're long gone. The plastic smoothie bottle you got with your meal deal has only just started to decompose.
Yeah. So basically, a couple of environmentalists have created a plastic expiry date website where people can get some more information, and then it's just a Google Drive folder, and you can download and print the stickers, and it's stickering. You can see the image here that we're showing you on the screen. Just encouraging people to think about the long-term ramifications of using plastic. I think this is really clever, but we did have some questions. For example, so basically this is stickering, which vegans have been doing for a long time. However, we've heard that when you put a sticker on, say, a slab of meat, animal flesh, or on a carton of milk, etc., that product has to be thrown out. It can't be sold because of safety issues. You've heard that
Health
too?
and safety issues, yeah.
Yeah. So I know at one stage everyone was getting into stickering as vegans, and then this came out, and so I think now it would be better to put the sticker just in the area of not directly on the package. My point is, I wonder if it's the same thing with stickering on plastic, because basically if they throw that animal product out, then you're just creating more demand. That animal product will be replaced. So it's like you're contributing to the
very thing that you're trying to stop.
Yeah, basically. Even if somebody doesn't pick it up to buy it, it has to be thrown out, therefore it needs to be replaced. So you're creating that demand in a way. So I don't know. I wonder if the same thing applies to the plastic, and have they thought about that?
Yeah, it's interesting.
Because then you're just creating more demand for plastic. So that was interesting. It got me thinking about the health warnings that are put on cigarette packages, and sometimes they're quite graphic images, aren't they? Like someone's chest being cut open, or cancer, and there's a tumour.
Teeth rotted.
Yeah, they're really disgusting. And yet people still buy packets of cigarettes.
What's been effective with making cigarette consumption less attractive is putting the prices of cigarettes up.
Yeah, in Australia
Basically
at least.
hitting people in the hip
They're so
pocket where it
expensive.
hurts. Yeah, I think I read something the other day that they're going to be increased potentially by another 12.5% or something like that,
Wow.
where they could approach maybe $50 a packet.
Oh
or
my
thereabouts,
God,
50
$50 Australian dollars. That is so expensive. So,
As they should be. They're a
Of
scourge,
course.
and the same should happen with animal products.
well, that's the thing. That I think has more of an impact, unfortunately, than anything else because people care about money
And yet,
more
what
than ethics.
the opposite is happening, where these industries are being subsidised by governments.
Right? Well, by governments, but AKA taxpayers' money.
Yeah.
So it's not government money, it's our money. So anyhow, I was thinking, the graphic health warnings on cigarette packets, if we applied that to stickering on animal products, what if we put stickers that said, this meat or whatever it is linked to epidemics like coronavirus? Wouldn't that shock someone? Like, animal products are linked to this virus. Do you really want to be part of that? Do you want to risk it?
Yeah.
I reckon that would just kind of stop or definitely make people think twice.
That's a good idea.
About picking up animal products in the store.
What are your thoughts? Let us know in the comments below. In fact, let us know your thoughts on any of the topics that we've discussed
Yes,
today.
that's the end of our list. I have to take a cold shower after this. It's ridiculous. So sweaty.
It's been hot, it's been sweaty, but it's been fun, and it's been great to be back.
Yes.
It's been great to share. Again, we would love to hear from you. Let us know your thoughts in the comments down below. What else?
What else?
Good to be back. You
Share
glad
with
to have us back?
Yeah, share what's been happening in your world, in your life over the last couple of months. What do you want to see from us? Any requests during our mukbangs? Anything you want us to cover, review, talk about?
I've got an idea up our sleeve anyway. Remember?
What is it?
Reading hate comments.
Oh, yeah. Do you want to see us read hate comments? We got so
We've
many.
got so many. There are 2 videos in particular that attract
Yes.
a lot of attention, a lot of hate.
Yeah,
And
let us
some of
know
the
if you want to
comments
see
are
this.
comical, so
I know. Every time I see you reading comments, like, oh my God, we've got to make this video.
yeah.
Pretty funny. So let us know if you want to see that and anything else, any requests you might have. I think that's it.
That's it.
All right. As we said at the beginning, everything that we've been doing and all of our podcasts, episodes, and everything on this
Link
channel,
below.
linked. Check it out. Help us get back on the YouTube train by watching, subscribing. Make sure you hit that subscribe button.
Turn on
The bell,
notifications.
the ding,
Yeah.
well, I'm out of practice. Just hit everything that's down there. And I think that's it.
That's it.
That's it. This has been fun.
It has.
Thank you.
And remember, until next time, that going vegan is not the most we can do.
It's the least we can do. See you in the next video.
Bye, everyone.
Bye, everyone.